each day I have a choice, and I choose to be curious about it and not be afraid. And I think that leaning into the curiosity allows the fear to drop away. Life happens very quickly. You could be fine one day, and the next day your whole life just changes. What he brings to me is knowing that we're always going to be together. No matter what happens, we may not physically be together, but we will always be together. Because the worst thing is not having anything, and then your wishes will not get honored at all. If you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for someone. It's not for you. Not for you. It's for your family.
Welcome to the Digital Legacy Podcast, where we talk about death and dying in the digital age. If you ever asked, how do I protect myself and those I love if something unexpected happened to me? You're in the right place. I'm your host, Niki Weiss, and together we'll explore how to protect yourself in a world where both your physical and digital legacy leave a lasting impact. And welcome back to another episode of the Digital Legacy Podcast, where we talk about death and dying in the digital age. My guest today is Anna Myers. Now, Anna, you are a caregiver for your husband who is currently going through cancer treatment, but it's been quite a journey for you. So please share what got you here today.
Sure. Yeah. So, backstory for my husband. He has had this diagnosis for 12 years. He first got diagnosed when he was 22, and it's been a journey for him. And he was
Diagnosed with, diagnosed with what kind of cancer?
astrocytoma, and anaplastic astrocytoma. We met in the summer of 2022, I believe. At that time, his scans were no evidence of disease, and that went on for about 7 years. He and I are into our 4 years in our relationship. So he was 3 years without evidence of disease. So we had a wonderful life. We never really thought about it. Kind of was just in the back of our mind. Every 6 months, he'd go get a scan, no evidence of disease. So we just continued to live our life and grow as a couple. And then in 2025, we were out. We are skiers. We're skiers, and we were on a ski trip where we got engaged. So this was February 18th, 2025. And 2 weeks later, he was like, something just doesn't feel right. He went to go get a scan, and there it was. On the scan, his tumor had popped back up. We like to call this tumor Marvin. So Marvin popped his little face into the MRI, and that started a snowball of events. We started off on a clinical trial. My professional life, I am in the software product development for a clinical trial company. So clinical trial, when I heard it, I jumped at it. I thought it was so exciting. And then we started that journey, but this tumor is pretty aggressive, and the treatment that they were providing was not aggressive enough. And so we decided to go get his surgery. That was his third craniotomy. And at the time of this, my company was going through a merger. So my personal life and professional life were equally chaotic. And I was just caught up in the midst of chaos, both professionally and personally. And it was just a journey of taking care of him. So he came out of surgery. He was doing great. He had some difficulties with moving his left side of the body, just where the tumor sits in the brain. It could affect mobility, and so it was, but he was recovering very, very quickly. And we decided we were going to go the standard of care route, which is chemo and radiation. So we sat down so I guess I should back up a little bit. So his surgery was in last June, so June of 2025. And then it took about 3 weeks to heal from the surgery before we started to go talk to the radiologist. We talked to the radiologist. He had gotten a brain scan probably a week before we sat down with the radiologist. And when she sat down with us, she showed us the image of his MRI right after surgery and where he was a week, where we were now. And in the surgery, they did get about 90% of the tumor. So it was very successful surgery. But when we sat down with the radiologist, we had seen that the tumor had grown to the original size that it was.
In how much time?
4 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Within four. So it was a 10.5 hour surgery.
Oh yeah, the surgery
Yeah.
was awful for me. For me. They told me it would be
10.
7 hours and it wound up being 10. And at like the 6.5 mark, it was radio silence. So for the last 4.5 hours, I was a nervous wreck. But
So going through all that with surgery and then come out of surgery thinking like, okay, we got through the worst of it. And then a month later,
oh yeah.
it is back pre-op.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was, I think, a defining moment for me, an eye-opening moment of like, okay, shit. This this is
It's real.
real. This is real. Uh and they don't really give you much time to really think and digest. The doctors, you see something like that and you're just like in survivor mode and you just keep doing what they tell you. So he was scheduled for radiation, which was scheduled for 10 straight days, and intense radiation. After the first week, 5 days, we were out to breakfast with my dad. It was a beautiful day. Like I said, I think it was the summer, so it must have been August,
Yeah.
July. We were just sitting having breakfast outside. He got up and he fell on top of me, and it was like that quick. He had suffered, at the moment we didn't realize, but he had suffered a stroke for radiation. And so he had lost the whole left side mobility.
So when you said that he suffered stroke from the radiation, you mean that the radiation, so I think for people that don't know, the radiation caused a brain
Well,
swell.
correct.
And that brain swelling caused a brain bleed,
Correct.
and the brain bleed is what led
Correct.
to,
Correct. Correct.
oh my gosh.
And that I would say was where all of the actual hardness started, as a caregiver, I would say, because from that point, very independent man. Like I said, we were skiers. He's very active. I was very active. Uh, so that really was a life-changing, defining moment for both of us, but for me as a caregiver, and I would probably say that's when my caregiver journey started. I That first month was the most challenging moment of my life because I had to.
So, I'm sorry, so he had a stroke,
Right.
but he had a debilitating stroke. He's wheelchair bound now.
Right. Sorry, I don't know if I had mentioned that. He had lost mobility on the left side, his whole left side of his body. So he could not walk. He was wheelchair bound, is wheelchair bound. And yeah, so going from completely independent, and a man, so sorry men, but you all do like your independence and it can be difficult to take care of you. Uh, so it's
What does that look like, Anna?
so um challenging, right? So it came from someone who was completely independent. I didn't even have to, it wasn't even a thought of my mind when he went to go shower, right? To now I am sitting on the toilet next to him in the shower. Um, we had to rearrange our whole entire apartment. Our shower is like a step-in shower, so we had to get a shower hose that like came down, a bench. I'm dressing him, I'm undressing him, I'm getting him out of the shower. You know, towel. I have to put on his socks. I have to put on his shirt. Like, it's just a complete
Full on.
full on uh 180 change of our relationship and my life for sure.
Skiing the Black
Oh,
Diamonds
uh,
in
in
February
Feb,
of
yeah,
25.
it life changing, honestly. And for those that don't know me, I've never seen myself, like, I've always been a caring person, but I also don't really want to care for anyone. I never wanted to be a mother, so the taking care, being a caregiver was never like
Was not
something
on the
I
bingo
wanted.
card.
But I
So let
got
me just take
it.
a pause. You
But I
got it.
got it.
So let me just take a pause here to put a little more texture and context
Yeah.
to this conversation and our relationship. So I don't know if some of you are picking up on the nuances here, but I'm interrupting Anna. I'm like kind of enhancing her conversation because Anna is my daughter.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see maybe a little bit of similarities between us, but so this is a really important conversation for me, and I just feel honored that you were willing to, sit and record your journey. And because I've been playing the part on two different sides, right? I've been trying to guide you, and we can talk, how am I guiding you? And Jimmy, we call him a lot of things. Guide you as a professional thanatologist, like, and that's been a challenge. We've had our challenging moments to kind of like get your ducks in a row and to have those important conversations. And still as a mother, I feel the emotion coming up. And as a mother, knowing what you're going through and what you're going to continue to go through, because this journey is not over yet.
It's just started.
Yeah. And let me just also acknowledge you, Anna, that you know you you chose to you were engaged 2 weeks after the engagement and gets a diagnosis. And when did you realize that you still want to marry this man?
There was never a doubt in my mind. Honestly, that thought never crossed my mind of like, I could run. Let's run. Let's run away. Let's forget about
A lot of people
this.
do.
Uh, but you don't know, you know James, but your audience does not know this man, and he is an incredible man. His story, and I do hope one day he tells it, because this is just a very, very tiny piece of his journey, uh, in a larger story that is just full of empowerment, inspiration, adversity. I don't know, the words are escaping my head, but he's my inspiration. He's my muse. He's my superhero. And this, like I said, is only a very small part of his story.
And I have to say that I've had several of my friends when I've been sharing your journey, they're constantly checking in. How's Anna doing? How is she managing? For most people, the thought of going through this experience as a young 30-year-old, I mean, you're
34.
34. Oh my God, you're 34.
34.
I was a young mom.
Yeah.
We grew up together.
Yeah.
But I have my friends who are saying, like, they sit there and they're like, yeah, I wouldn't have married him. I've heard that, and I've heard, well, how is she doing? Like, and we can talk about how you're doing and from a self-care standpoint. And what I said, or I keep telling them, is like, it's a defining moment for you, Anna. Like, I would say in your entire life that this is for sure. I mean, we're talking all those life milestones, but this is a moment where it is really defining, and I'm seeing the best in you, like everything that we've been through as mother daughter, and at the same time it's like, damn, look at that woman go. So here you are, like, what gets you from not going under the covers, from not dropping, knowing what, look, he has a terminal disease. Let's
Yes.
call it what it is. This is not a disease that he's going to beat. All they're trying to do right now is buy him time and quality of life.
Correct.
So how do you get up every morning and face this?
Well, like I said, James is incredible, right? I would have to say that I think that because he had the history prior to me and his parents, they've already gone through like that first initial reaction. This is life now, right? This has been life for them for 12 years. So I do think that I have good support in that way, and they've been able to prepare me in that aspect. But present day and moving forward, I think that I know that I very spiritual person, right? I'm very connected, I feel like, to whatever else is out there. And I know that I'm being thrown into this because it's part of my life, right? It's part of my life journey. It's part of my purpose of being here. It's part of my story. And I think you asked me what's one thing that you want people to take away from the conversation that we're having today. And one of it is I had two choices, right? I can face it and accept it because I love this man. And for 31 years of my life, I tried to find a man that I loved and loved me unconditionally, and really struggled until I met James. And I could throw what we had away and, you know, go do something else, knowing that I'm going to get thrown something else. There's always something. People always have something in their life, and I chose to accept that this was our path and embrace it and see what how can I grow from it? What experiences am I going to gain from it? Knowing that it's very hard. I think for the first 6 months, I cried every day. I allowed myself to cry. I had to cry. And just you sit in it, right? You pray, you say, well, how is this going to help me? And honestly, I'm proud of myself for how much I have been handling it. I really, like, I talk to my friends, my coworkers, other people, and they, you know, half of what I'm going through and on antidepressants and anxiety medicine and, you know, ways to self-soothe, and I'm not on any of that. Granted, I do some other things, but I I I'm pretty headstrong. I have a pretty healthy mindset.
Okay, I'm going to take a little bit of credit here
Yes.
as your mother.
I have a
As your
mother.
mother, as a mother, we do talk about, well, okay, so growing up, right? I mean, growing up, death was always a part of our
Yes.
dinner table
I should
conversation,
have wrapped that in, looped that in. Yes.
right? So
Also knowing, and I should say that I know, and I should say at 34 years old, I think right now, knock on wood, the biggest death loss is my grandfather, and that was when I was 8. But up until this point, James is going like the biggest. I don't know how to put it in words, but there feels like whatever I build here, whatever the love that we build here, will just connect us further as life continues to unfold. And I don't believe in death is the end. I think that it's just another beginning. So as I said, I think that whatever we build today will take us infinity.
through the end of
Yeah.
time. So can we talk a little bit about now that we've talked more like of the emotional stuff and what you've been through, can we talk more about the pre-planning stuff and the conversations that, I mean, that had been not so easy to have? I mean, as a 34, when he first got diagnosed, he didn't have a will. He didn't have power of attorney, medical advance directive. I don't know where you guys, I know we've had conversations about like the digital assets and just trying to organize everything. And he still, even knowing he was faced with this, terminal diagnosis, he's still in February, March, April. It wasn't until the stroke, Anna, was he willing to start putting those documents in place. And you and I were in the background having those like me saying to you, can you get him to get this stuff done? So as that, knowing that he needed to do it, but he had that blockage, what was that like for you, and what were those conversations?
Yeah, I don't know if it was necessarily him having the blockage. I think that part of it is me too. That just type of stuff in general, I hate it, right? It's like paperwork. It's like I just don't want to
Your project
I
manager.
don't want to think about it. I don't want to think about it. Um but it's a very important thing to think about, right? It helps with that anxiety. It helps with the um having a plan. So yeah, okay. So the where did the blockage like come undone? And I would say probably of just it became another anxiety of not getting it done.
But you had that. All right, sorry. Now I feel like I'm in like out of the professional mode and in like the mother conversation. But you got a terminal diagnosis, and the reason I'm saying this, and I really want our listeners to hear this. I have other family members who don't have plans, and my brother. I have two brothers. One who's an estate attorney, and the other one who's not. And and the and the other brother doesn't have a plan, and he has the same parents. He has the same parents as I do. And I say to him, when are you going to get their plan? And he said, when I get the diagnosis. So some people are like, well, when I get the diagnosis, then I'll put the plan. So then I go back to you and James. I'm like, well, you got the diagnosis and you still couldn't had trouble moving forward with the plan.
Well,
So that's what I'm trying to get people to see, like where the insight is, and what could minimize some of that friction.
understandably so, but also for your listeners, let's take a step back and at that time, so July, right? So I didn't finish the whole year of the story. So in July, right? He got
He had the
diagnosed.
script.
He had the stroke. Uh, we were engaged, so I was planning a wedding for September. And then on top of that, we decided to also get a puppy, an 8-week-old puppy. So when you're telling me like you have to get all these documents in order, that's literally was the last thing I had the mental space to think about until I had some time and space to like be like, all right, well, if things happen so quickly. I want your listeners to know that too. Life happens very quickly. You could be fine one day and the next day your whole life just changes.
Especially with a brain tumor.
Yes.
And I
And
kept saying that. I'm like, I don't, I think I kept saying a seizure, because my fear was he was going to have a seizure and then he was not going to have the mental capacity, the legal mental capacity to complete the documentation. So he had a stroke, and we were able to determine, even with the stroke, and as chaotic as it was for us to get his documentation, but there was something that he finally said, or did you just put your foot down and say, we need to do
no,
this?
it's a together thing. Everything that he and I do, we're partners. So it's a conversation that we just continue to have. And it just was like, well, it would protect me. Not only does it protect him, it protects me. And I want to be able to give him the voice, right? This he can make the decision now, so make the decision for him. I mean, his parents are still in the picture, so it would, there when emotions are high, it's hard to make the decisions that are best for you. So I just think like I said, we had some time and space where things weren't so chaotic, and it just was like, all right, let's just get it done. Like I said, the anxiety of not doing it was more anxiety driven than everything else that we were going through. And I just was like, okay, well, let's just get it done. So we did, and I mean, it took several months. We did the will, and then I think it took us a few more months to get the power of attorney signed and stuff. And like I said, I don't
Executed.
it was also me, right? Because let's remind your listeners, James is wheelchair bound. If he needs to go somewhere, if he needs to get something done, it's a we thing, right? Like I have to go do it. So again, it was me taking the space to go do it because of everything else that I was juggling. But we got it done. The next thing's the car that we have not done yet.
But we took care of the second car. That was
Oh,
also like a point of
yes,
contention
yes.
where, we had a moment where there was, I think it was, he was, he was having, it was the weekend that he was having the strokes, right? He had several falls.
Hmm.
And then that's when I was, again, coming in hard as a mom and saying, sell the car now.
Yeah.
And even him and his parents were like, oh, he's going to drive again.
Yeah, and they're like,
Like there was
well,
that whole thing.
yeah, like what if you both need two cars? Like, that conversation. But at the time, I had a great car. I was gonna either like I was gonna have to put more money. The car was paid off. It just made sense, right? And honestly, best decision ever. Best
But it
decision.
was, but it was a decision that was not necessarily supported 100% by James and his parents, who lean on, for validation and approval at times. So you really needed to stand strong into your conviction
So
in making that
yeah, so I
determination
think
decision.
that over the last year, I'd say that one thing that I've realized is I've been able to stand my ground of like, no, this is something that needs to happen, and I don't need your approval. I'm doing it, right? Like we are partners, but at some times you need to be the one that just goes forward. Because sometimes we could get stagnant and caught up in our anxiety, and it's hard to move forward.
So moving forward,
Yeah.
you guys, like, where are your conversations now for
We talk about his digital aspects, like all, art.
afterlife? Does he want to become a bot?
No, he's very much against that. Um, it's we just started the conversation, but he doesn't want. He wants everything deleted.
And that end of life conversation, is that something that he's started to have with the doc? Like, does he know when enough's enough, or when to keep moving with
He'll
treatment and therapies?
he'll know when enough's enough, but I don't know if we're not there yet.
Well, no, he's still got a lot of life left in
Yeah.
him. But the quality versus quantity, is that something that the two of you talk about?
So we did so as I mentioned, the radiation was supposed to be scheduled for 10 days, right? So we stopped it, and because his quality of life is more important than quantity of life. And when we get to the point of the treatment is just affecting his life too much, we'll make decisions then. But it's really at this point in the journey, we're at a standstill. We're still having the conversations, but nothing we feel like needs to be executed.
Nothing executed, but still to be able to have the conversations early on. So, and that's what I'm trying to encourage people to do, is you could play the what if conversations. I mean, when I'm in the car with my husband, it's, can we have a what if, I have to ask, can we have a what if conversation? And just like knowing that it might never happen, but at least if it does, and we've at least started the conversation around what will life look like if it decides to take us down one path versus another, and what would you want
Yeah.
in the decision that could be made.
So one thing that we do talk about, it's not legal yet in Pennsylvania, but I would love us. I heard a podcast on like This American Life about a woman and her husband going to Switzerland for assisted
Medical aid and
med
dying.
yeah, medically aid in dying, and I think that it's a beautiful option. So we do explore to see if that could be something for us to do, because the ending of a brain tumor in life is not an easy journey. Uh, so not, and even for the patient, not just for the caregiver, but for the patient as well.
But you're not alone.
I'm not alone.
You guys are very lucky.
I'm
You
not
guys are
alone.
very lucky.
We do have each other too, and I think that we have a very, very strong bond, the two of us.
I'm gonna just again take a kind of creative authority here, just because growing up, what do you think about like being having a mom like me that talked about death all the time, and
So
how do you think that impacted you?
yeah, so that is also when I sit and reflect, that me growing up, terrified. I mean, you'll know, terrified of death, terrified. The concept of death, like, just I, I,
Did I
I
traumatize
don't
you?
know. I don't know if you traumatized me. I don't know if it's necessarily uh because of you, or just like of death as a concept. But I would say that this journey no longer scares me about it. But I do think that, you having parents that died so young, and being, I would like to use the word obsessed about this topic ever since I can remember. But you always approached it. I never felt like you approached it in like a scary way. You always like brought me back down to be centered in it, right? Like, it's part of life. It's scary because it's unknown. That's the scariest part, right? Because it's so unknown. Um, but it's also, there's so much in it that we just don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty one of those mysteries in life, like something to chew on, right? You can either chew on it and try and explore the meaning of it, or just let it go and be in free fall of
And
it'll be what it'll
and
be.
I think that's where I'm at, right? So like I said, I choose this life. Sometimes he and I sit on the couch, and he's very validating to me, and he just is like, I feel sorry for you. I feel sorry that this is something that you have to go through. And I get so ticked off when he says, I feel sorry for you, because I don't want anyone to feel sorry for me. I want your listeners to know, I want people to know, I choose this life every day. I choose it. And no one needs, like, it's hard. It's not an easy life to choose, but I choose it every day. I choose him every day because I think what we have is something beautiful. I think that who I'm becoming because of this experience is really beautiful. I literally don't even recognize myself. It's funny. I ran into like an old someone from college a few weeks ago, and it definitely like pulled me back to like that person I was. But then I realized, like, I am so far removed from that 23-year-old, 22-year-old. Um and because of this experience.
So let's step into you, caregiver, also trying to manage a full-time job.
Oh yeah.
So as an employee,
Oh yeah.
so let's just step into that one too. So as an employee, right? You
Yeah.
have all this emotion, you see yourself changing, all this outside pressure, which is probably like I just had this vision, right? You have all this outside pressure, but you're becoming that diamond. Like you are becoming that hardened, crystallized diamond because of all this outside force that is just testing at you.
Yeah.
So, how does your job play into this? How does the company support you as an employee?
Yeah. So I have a story popped up, so I am going to tell the story, but a little bit of background. I work for a company that is 100% remote, so I am home all the time. All the time, I'm home. Um, all the time.
Is that positive or negative?
I don't know, but I'm home all the time. Um, but it makes my and I do write. I've written a few articles on LinkedIn. My life, my personal life and professional life are one and the same, right? So I really don't have a separation. But for me, it works. But the story that comes to mind is, oh, I might have, he was sick. I don't know if he was on chemo or one of the experimental drugs that he was taking. I can't recall those details, but I was giving a presentation, like a big presentation. Um, and my office at the time was in the bedroom. Right now, I get to have my own space, but at the time, my office was in the bedroom, and he is getting sick. I mean, like, just
On the toilet
oh,
sick.
oh. And again, I'm facilitating this meeting. I'm a project manager, so I'm facilitating this meeting. He's getting sick, and like I am running back and forth from being like on camera when I don't have to talk, when someone else is taken over, turn off the camera, I go quickly run into the bathroom, say, "Are you okay? Like, what do I need to do? Okay, you're just taking care of yourself right now. Okay." I run back. And the meeting was like an hour long, and he was sick for that long too. So I'm just like in both worlds at the same time. But that's life, right? That was my life at the moment. So I'm very grateful that I get to work from home because I can be in two places at once. And I'm a project manager, so I know how to juggle many things, many escalations all at one time and make it seem like there's no problem.
You got
I
this.
got it. And you know what? No one knew at work. No one knew. No one knew.
Did you tell anyone?
No, I mean, I didn't. But no one knew, right? And again, at the time, work was so chaotic. Like I said this in the beginning of our interview, work was just as chaotic as my personal life. So it just was, I was in it, right? But currently, I feel like things have calmed down. My manager knows, like I'm open about what I'm going through, but I also love my job, right? I don't know about if I like love every aspect. Who loves every aspect of their job? But for the most part, I do love what I do. And when I'm in work, I'm in work. And when I have to take those a second to like step out of work, I can, and then I come right back to it. So I just time management too is what one of my gifts that I can just figure it out and do it all. I would also though put a caption of like we don't recommend doing this. Leave this to a professional. We don't recommend living this life. But
Well, it sounds like this is a life that you didn't choose, that it chose you.
yeah.
Like this, like you said, this has been your path. And it's interesting because, again, my friends will ask me, well, is she planning on having children? And I always said that Anna was never,
No.
that was never on your roadmap.
No, it's not on my
And this
roadmap.
just,
It's not.
and this just might be the universe saying, well, you might not want kids, but
Oh,
you're going to be a
oh yeah.
caregiver anyway.
For sure. For sure. The universe definitely is like, well, you are going to take care of someone. It may not be from you, but you will take care of someone.
So the FMLA, we haven't talked, we'll just talk a little bit about it. So for people who aren't familiar with the Family Leave Act, because you did on one of your LinkedIn article, LinkedIn post, you did talk about the Family Leave Act, FMLA, if people aren't familiar with it. And, knowing what's coming down the pike at some time, although we don't have a crystal ball, and that you might need that 12 weeks off
Yeah,
at some
at
point.
some point.
At some point, but it's like, do you talk to your company? Like, are they aware that you might need to trigger that benefit of yours?
So not I would say not in this new company. So as I said, we were going through a merger. So in the old company, right when we were going through this, I did go to my HR person. We had like a very heart to heart conversation. Um, and I said, like, when the time comes, what do I need to do? And so, we laid it all out, but I didn't take any FMLA for his surgery. I took PTO. I'm fortunate enough to have a very flexible PTO policy. So I never had to tap into the FMLA, but it is there. And in the new company, they actually do have like a cancer insurance. So,
Oh,
yeah, which my previous company did not. So this one with our new benefits for 2026, they do have like a cancer insurance policy. So if myself or for James, I can tap into it when I need to.
did the HR help you with it? Like, just uncover those benefits,
No,
or did you
it was
just
part, it
put it
was
on?
just part of our like open enrollment. It was just part of our benefits that they offered. So I'm very fortunate that I mean, again, I work in the clinical trial space. So, and the company is very work-life balance, very, very family centered.
Mhm.
So again, I'm very fortunate for having a great company to work for.
I mean, I want to say that you're very fortunate in many aspects, right? Even knowing you're going through this, and maybe that's we just need to highlight that what I see as a professional, I'll put my professional hat on, not my mother hat, but as a professional, you're at a stable job at the moment. I mean, life
Life
is
is
crazy,
crazy.
and it's crazy, and it is a remote job, which has its benefits as well as its challenges. But you have a remote job. You have a company that has the work-life balance. Your in-laws are very
Oh,
involved. They live 10
very,
minutes away.
very involved. Yes.
Yeah. I'm an hour and a half away, so I'm less of the good parent. I'm there for emotional
She
support.
has she has my dog. She is.
Oh, we do. We have we are taking care of your dog,
Yeah, yeah.
so you can get a new puppy.
Crazy. It's crazy.
Call that one out there.
Yeah, crazy.
But I think the most important thing, Anna, is that you have the context that you're not afraid of death.
No. No, I used to be, right. We went off on a tangent. So I was saying, like, I very much used to be, and I think it's part of the journey, right? So you take a girl that terrified, literally terrified. I'd wake up, I'd throw up from the anxiety. Um, Even like in my 20s, it would I would wake up in a panic from it. Uh,
Just the thought
just a
of
thought,
what
just a
the
thought. I don't. I would be sleeping, and the thought of it would pop in my subconscious
so
or what
random.
in dreams, and I'd wake up in such a panic. And now it's just I'm you could be fearful or you could be curious, right? Those in life we have choices. We have different ways we could perceive things. So I choose to perceive life as half the glass half full, not as half empty or bone dry. So
That's a family joke.
yeah. So I sat like again, I each day I have a choice and I choose to be curious about it and not be afraid. And I think that leaning into the curiosity, leaning into like, how is this going to shape me? How is this going to change me? How is this going to change others around me? Allows the fear to just like drop away. And we live in such a crazy time right now where like we may be able to like more people may be able to like tap into the other realm. And trust me, there is another realm out there, and I'm fully feel it. And yeah,
And James does too.
yes, I mean he has a brother that passed away not too long ago, so um we tap into that. We know that they're still here. I always use this analogy when people like talk to me about it. If you didn't know how to read or write, you wouldn't know how to, if you were never taught that, that would be a skill that you would never be able to tap into. Well, I think that's the same about the other realm, the other side. We're not taught to tap into it, so we have to use our own tools, our own curiosity of how we can connect with it. And that's where I've been. That's how he and I like what he brings to me is knowing that we're always going to be together. No matter what happens, we may not physically be together, but we will always be
You
together.
guys starting to talk about, hey, when you're on the other side, what breadcrumbs or breadcrumbs you're gonna leave
Yeah.
me, and like
Yes.
signals, and like you're
Yes.
starting to like put together like, hey, if you see this, it's me tapping you on the shoulder.
Yeah. I mean, he's always says he's gonna be with me, and I know. And sometimes I'm like, oh, you're gonna haunt me on some things, aren't you? But for the most part, I one thing that I like asked, I was like, I want you to send me an alien, right? Like if aliens are real, send me an
Be
alien.
like a cartoon
That's what.
alien, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Um,
The other thing I just
yeah. I'm.
sorry. The other thing I just want to
Uh,
point out is like, if you don't laugh, you have to laugh. We have to laugh at this.
oh, I will. He is one of, if not the funniest person I have ever met. And in the most hardest moments that we've gone through, he's made me laugh. And I think that it's been a gift, right? My one girlfriend just got married right when he was learning the wheelchair, and I'm in a dress in heels, all done up. He's in the wheelchair, and I'm pushing him up this ramp, pushing him up a ramp. There's trees on the side. He's like, "Why are you pushing me into the trees?" And I just like freak out, right? I'm literally, I feel like it's Mount Everest that I'm like pushing him up here. And I'm so out of my mind, just exhausted and frustrated, and I want to cry. And honestly don't even remember what he said. And he just made me laugh so hard that it made the moment like it wasn't even hard anymore. It was just a funny moment.
All right. So I feel like as we're coming to an end of this conversation, I want you to give like your lessons learned and takeaways. But
yeah,
I feel like I want to send this out to my nieces and nephews. I do. I feel like if my nieces and nephews are listening to this, like this is a direct message to all of you. Get your final playbook done,
stuff
right,
in order.
Anna? Like if one more person tells me, "Oh, I'm young, I don't need to worry about that," how can we empower your cousins, anyone who's staying done?
Well, I would say, I think the subject is hard for people. It's scary. But I challenge everyone listening, you don't have to start big. Start small. Honestly, the first thing we did, get yourself like a little notebook. Honestly, just a little notebook, blank notebook, and write down your passwords. Just write down your passwords. Write down anything. You could either write a little note and just start there. Just start small. Start chipping away. You don't have to go right into doing your will and doing all that. But start some. But okay, but you're asking like how to start. Okay. You got to build the motivation, right? So once you do that, then you do the will. Have something, because the worst thing is not having anything, and then your wishes will not get honored at all. It'll go to the state and the government, and family, we all know how they handle things.
And the family will
family that do not share your same values. I mean, I tell him I don't want to deal with his brother. I do not want to have there's tension there, and I always tell him like, make sure things are finalized, because if I have to deal with it, I'm not going to deal with it.
It's good advice. Have those conversations now before you get the diagnosis, before the car accident, right?
It's just you talk about having future kids. Why not talk, if you are going to have kids, especially protect them. I mean, if you're not going to do it for yourself, because sometimes we have such a hard time doing things for ourselves, do it for someone. It's not for you. It's not for you. It's for your family.
And with that, I love you.
I love you.
I've been asking you to have this conversation. I know it's not an easy one, but I do feel like you have a perspective that people need to hear, that life is indiscriminate.
And it happens fast.
And sometimes
one day, 1 hour, 1 hour can change everything.
Yeah. If somebody wanted to reach out to you, best place to find you?
LinkedIn for right now. Reach out to LinkedIn. I don't do social media, but I have LinkedIn. You'll find me though under my maiden name. So
you know what? They can reach out to me and I'll get you.
Yeah.
Reach out to me and then I'll get you in touch with you.
I don't want to spell. I changed Myers because it's just so much easier.
It's all good. Well, with that, Anna, thank you so much for joining, and we can end our call here.
Of course. Yes. Bye, everyone.
See, that was
fun. Thank you for listening to the Digital Legacy Podcast, where we talk about death and dying in the digital age. I hope this conversation inspired you to take control and plan for the inevitable to protect yourself and those you leave behind. Don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter at digitallegacypodcast.com. Remember, life is full of surprises. What happens after you die shouldn't be. So keep your passwords safe and your playbook up to date.